Early contender for Breakout Player of the Year, I would say, winning the Baltimore Regional Championships with his Turbo Gardevoir list, and he has continued to find success with this deck. He got a top 64 finish at the Louisville Regional Championships, and he decided it was good enough to bring down to LAIC. And we see Dyego Rathje on the other side, rocking with Origin Form, Palkia V-Star, and the Dusknoir. This is a deck we've seen a couple of times already. Extremely strong choice. No surprise to see Dyego has decided to rock with it for this event.
Yeah, this is a really back and forth matchup. It's exciting to see because you know about the explosive opportunities that Dyego will have in this matchup. You've got an opportunity to knock out so many of these very important staples of the deck. If you can take down the Ralts or the Kirlias before you see that Gardevoir EX, there is no way to accelerate these energies and start to deal with the countless answers that we see Henry have in the mid to late game.
Oh my goodness,
Oh,
we see prize cards going out to Origin Form Palkia.
Where's the Hisuian? All right, we have Hisuian Heavy Ball.
He does have Hisuian Heavy Ball, but that is a rough thing to start with. He's going to have to find that Hisuian Heavy Ball, but really important as well to note, for Henry, he prized his one single copy of Darkness Energy.
No.
The Monkey Dory is such a vital part of this deck, moving those damage counters around, healing your own Pokemon, and then also boosting the effective damage output you have, how much reach you can have in any given turn. That is something that is going to be a big deal.
Oh, this will be an exciting one for sure here, Chip. See both our players starting things off there. The free retreat Mew, but just a pass of the turn.
Not too much happening there. Benching the Greninja, that Radiant Greninja, not even having an energy card in order to use concealed cards. And Henry Chao does start that Monkey Dory. He's not going to be getting much value from it. He does have a pretty strong opening here with this Earthen Vessel, can get rid of some cards, has an Ultra Ball, has a Nest Ball. Some things to work with.
There's a little more there, Chip. There's a secret box and a research, it looked like, as well. So plenty of opportunities here to get the ball rolling. Just want to get those basic Pokemon down as early as possible, but can't blame Henry here for checking out the counts, seeing what's going on, and immediately identifies, hey, where's that Dark Energy?
Yeah, and I think that is the very first thing we see being written down on the notepad.
Just a big moon.
No, yeah, no Darkness Energy available just yet. And yeah, the secret box was kind of the new technology in this Gardevoir deck that Henry brought to the forefront when he won the Baltimore Regional Championships. What kind of reach does it give to these Gardevoir decks for maybe anyone who's not totally up to date with what this speed Gardevoir deck can do?
Yeah, absolutely. Just being able to search out the exact pieces that you need to go for a turn 2 Gardevoir EX is exactly what you're looking for with this strategy from Henry. You can put on a ton of pressure, potentially even knocking out a Pokemon like this Mew EX in the active spot on the second turn because of the way that Henry speeds through all of his initial strategy.
I do also just want to give a quick little call out to the GX/V-Star marker that Dyego has on the table, the N. That was a vital part of his win back at LAIC in 2018. He ended himself to 2 cards and found the Lycanroc GX to pull off the game-winning play against Azul Garcia Griego. One of the most electrifying matches we've ever seen in the Pokemon TCG. Dyego paying homage to that with his V-Star marker for the weekend. You love to see it.
Had his bloodthirsty eyes on the prize there, and sure enough, got the job done. It was incredible to see, and we see him once more, what, 6 years later, getting the job done. It's pretty fantastic.
So we see the prize cards being shuffled after this Hisuian Heavy Ball. Things are going to be rearranged a little bit based on where they were previously, and sure enough, that secret box waiting in the hand. It is a pretty costly A-Spec. You have to discard 3 cards in order to get its powerful effect, but its effect is that powerful. You get to get one of every type of trainer card, 1 supporter card, 1 stadium card, 1 tool card, and 1 item card, and add them into your hand. It can create all sorts of crazy plays.
Exactly, and especially when you combine this card with something like that Earthen Vessel, you're throwing away a bunch of those energy cards. But this is exactly where you want those energies. Place them in the discard pile so you have an opportunity to go for that turn 2 Gardevoir attacking.
Interesting enough, though, Henry, with a Professor's Research in hand, is choosing not to go for that supporter, choosing to hold off on the secret box. What do you make of that?
We've seen this before from Henry. He wants to slow down and give himself an opportunity to go for almost a guaranteed turn 2 Gardevoir EX. He doesn't feel any pressure with this single Ralt on the bench right now because his opponent didn't bench a Palkia V.
Yeah, very heads-up play, I would say, there for Henry, without a doubt. Now Dyego doing his first deck search is going to get the sad news. Origin Form Palkia V, both of them in the prize cards. He'll have to immediately brings the heavy ball to the front of the deck. Yep, I will be playing this card pretty quickly. He does have other attacking options, of course. He is playing that 101 Greninja EX line.
Yeah, which is something that we've seen sneak in. Some players, thinking about some of those lightning Pokemon, Miraidon, giving yourself an answer in there, or potentially just searching out that optimal card, kind of like a bad quick search.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing the Greninja in this one. It is weak to Psychic.
Yep, there
so that
go.
could be a problem, but we will indeed see Origin Form Palkia V being found from that Hisuian Heavy Ball. Dyego did play that Irida for turn, searching his deck for a water Pokemon and an item card, added them to the hand, grabbing that Hisuian Heavy Ball in order to get this Pokemon, and even prepared the next turn with the Origin Form Palkia V-Star. Now plays a Nest Ball, able to search the deck for a basic Pokemon, added directly to the bench, brings a Duskull to the front of the deck. Had a couple of different Duskulls to choose from, went with the newer one.
I respect it. And also on Henry's side, he's probably identified already. My opponent is really banking on that single Palkia V right now. There's no way that you're using Irida, searching out the V-Star as the water Pokemon of choice, and then going for Hisuian Heavy Ball as opposed to something like a Buddy Poffin. So as soon as you see that play, you know the second one's already in the prizes.
Henry Chao draws for turn, finds another Professor's Research, immediately uses this Radiant Greninja, discarding a Psychic Energy in order to find two more. It is Secret Box time. 3 cards will be discarded from this hand in order to fetch all sorts of combo pieces.
This is so great. Look at the rest of the hand to go along with this. Buddy Poffin along with Ultra Ball and a Research. It's going to be the Rare Candy. You'll see the Gardevoir come out here as well. And this is a really great opportunity for Henry. If he's able to set up the Gardevoir, but then have the Buddy Poffin play, he can start to establish a bench so that he can go for Curlias later, but present a threat that has to be checked by Dyego.
Only going to grab 3, choosing to leave that Moonlight Hill in the deck, and will just discard that Bravery Charm and the Arven. Gets rid of the Bravery Charm, normally a pretty valuable resource.
Yeah, sometimes when you're going for those big knockouts, you need that extended reach, but in a game where you're expecting to potentially take some knockouts with the Gardevoir and then move some damage with the Monkey Dory, hopefully you get that Dark Energy.
Sure.
You'll be getting the knockouts on Pokemon with these lower hit points.
Yeah, in worst case scenario, I mean, there is still 2 more Bravery Charm remaining in the deck, so he still has options in order to reach for big KOs later on. It is going to be a Buddy Poffin now, filling the bench back up with a couple of Ralts, hitting the field. Of course, can Rare Candy the Ralts that has been in play into the Gardevoir this turn. And back in our day, you used to be able to Rare Candy that Ralts right away.
That's right. Why are we waiting here? Let's giddy up. We used to high five here too. That's a 0-card hand down for the Research. Really just looking for one of those prime attackers. But honestly, Gardevoir can get the job done here for you.
Gardevoir can indeed get the job done, but there's not really an attacking option to go with here.
Why not Gardevoir?
You can go with the Gardevoir, but then you do run the risk of that just going down right away. Dyego doesn't have too much of a board established. You know Origin Form Palkia V-Stars in the hand, though, and there is already a Duskull in play. Could be a little scary.
I'm getting a little nervous, but also these are sometimes opportunities you have. You see the Drifloon bench, and you're not benching that Pokemon unless you're probably going to attack with it. The math lines up very well here, too.
Yeah, don't even need the Bravery Charm. With 3 energies being placed on it from the Psychic Embrace, it will be 180 damage exactly in order to take 2 prizes on this Mew EX and keep that Gardevoir protected and safe on the bench.
Chip, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen someone play Gardevoir like this. I've watched Henry play countless times through NAIC and the recent regionals. He's the only player that truly embodies this strategy, and it always works to the maximum every time he does it.
Yeah, you can see the benefit of sticking to a deck through multiple formats. You know, playing it the old way back at NAIC, you know, of course, the Monkey Dory was the big addition back then, and then making the innovations with the Secret Box. There is that Drifloon attacking into the Mew EX. 2 prizes now for Henry Chao. He is the one initiating this trade. What is Dyego going to do to respond? Immediately puts down that Blood Moon Ursaluna, and we even see Spiritomb coming into the mix.
Oh, this is desperation, though. He's just trying to thin down the hand to draw with the restart.
That's all he has. All he has access to, just one
Finds
single
a rare
card.
candy, though.
That's not too bad. Able to use this Dusknoir, but I actually don't even know if there's any energy in the discard pile.
I mean, I think you're
Where
just
does
going
he go from here?
You're just going for a prize card here, Chip. Maybe you find a supporter.
He knows his prize cards. Is there even a supporter in them? No, an
Iono,
one Iono.
Right. 1 and 6. Maybe the Pokestop? something to continue the draws. Find Earthen Vessel. That Earthen Vessel could be a good draw there too. Looks like 3 of the 6 could potentially help out. Which one does he find? No, the Hisuian Heavy Ball.
Probably the worst one. This can at least get an Origin Form Palkia V, but you're not attacking this turn. It's actually going to be grabbing the Dust Skull here, leaving that as an option for the future. But, I mean, if you are a Gardevoir player and your opponent is not attacking by the 3rd turn of the game, you're feeling pretty good about your chances to win that one.
Is Palkia V-Star Pass good, Chip? I don't know.
Generally, no.
Oh, man. Well, the one benefit that we have here as Diego is you've already seen your opponent does not have that tool. They threw it away in the discard pile earlier on. Is there a way to search it out and to get a little more help now?
And that's probably what Henry Chao is looking for. As of now, that Origin Form Palkia V-Star in the active is safe. We do see the concealed cards and the refinement, each of those cards drawing a couple. We do see the Darkness Energy was found off the prizes for Henry Chao. That is really, really big. Can start to move some damage counters around. You obviously don't want to move them off of the Drifloon, but you can prep some energies on something like the Gardevoir EX in order to make it retreat later on. Potentially, and we will actually see the Pheasantipity being used.
Wow, and that looked pretty nice. I believe that was Arven found, and that will lead to a very significant draw.
Yeah, that can lead to the Bravery Charm. Of course, Arven letting you search your deck for a Pokemon tool card and an item card and adding them to the hand. Bravery Charm is the initial grab. And then we really don't need any other item cards here as Henry. I think he's happy to thin the deck out, grab this Buddy Poffin for some refinement fodder later on. And it is going to be Henry Chao going down to just 1 single prize card on this turn.
Yeah, this is Henry really thinking of everything, not only holding on to that Buddy Poffin, but this is also when you take this knockout with the Drifloon, you're thinking about how do I get another Pokemon that could check a huge hit points, maybe like that Blood Moon Ursaluna. I'm going to need access to that Drifloon once more. Super Rod, Buddy, we're right back in it.
300 damage from the Balloon Blast, more than enough to KO this Origin Form Palkia V-Star. At this point as Henry, you're jumping so far ahead, you just have to make sure you don't do something that would throw the game away. You don't want to make any mistakes in this spot that would cost you in the long term. Just like you said, Kyle, make sure you can prep for whatever your opponent may have on the other side. And we're going to see Henry choose to thin a few cards out here using the Ultra Ball, discards the Buddy Poffin and the Klefki, finding a Kirlia. Yep,
you don't need that Kirlia at all, but you're thinking about the future. If your opponent is going to come back in this game, potentially it's that Pheasantipity, draw some additional cards, find Iono, and then limit the hand size for Henry. So what does he do? He starts to throw away resources so that his draws start to look a little bit better in the coming turns.
Balloon Blast, 2 prize cards. Goodbye, Origin Form Palkia V-Star. Diego promotes this Mew EX, draws a single card, has a switch into the Blood Moon.
Henry even finds the Bravery Charm there out of the prize cards.
Diego using Restart finds the Prime Catcher. Ultra Ball will play this Ultra Ball, thinning the hand down. This can maybe find something like the Pheasantipity to draw 3 cards with Flip the Script. He does not need any energy cards to attack with this Blood Moon Ursaluna. Worth noting, of course, with that Seasoned Skull ability.
Also to note, there is a potential knockout that could be drawn into without even attacking here. If you find the Lost Vacuum, you can knock out this Drifloon by removing the tool here. But no, there's nothing.
Yeah, Flip the Script, doesn't find the Lost Vacuum. Diego's seen enough. Let's pack it up and head into game number 2. Henry Chao gets the win.
The fastest Gardevoir this side of the world, man. Unreal how quickly he moves, and it's flawlessly too. Always finding the right plays, presenting so many threats, but also thinking about the future. It's flawless.
The fastest Gardevoir in the West, Henry Chao, without a doubt taking things down in this game. And this is a really important one for both of these players. They are both at an X1-1 record, 8-1-1 coming into this round. So they need a win here in order to continue on. Let's get a recap of what happened exactly in game number 1. If you're looking for highlights from Diego's side, there's not going to be too much.
Yeah, he got to look at a lot of prize cards, but taking them was another story. Hisuian Heavy Ball to check out what was going on there. It wasn't very pretty. An opportunity to maybe get bailed out there with the Iono or the Earthen Vessel was not to be had as Henry continued this onslaught, taking prize card after prize card. Drifloon getting the job done there for some big knockouts.
Players are going to be setting up now for our second game here. I have to imagine Diego will be choosing to go first. not only because it benefits him since he can evolve into his attacker, but you want to try to slow down your opponent's Gardevoir deck. They need to evolve as well.
Yeah, you ever turn to Moonlight Shuriken, a couple Ralts? It feels good.
And that is something definitely worth noting because Henry Chao is not playing Manaphy, sticking to his guns, has not been playing that card for quite some time in this Gardevoir list. It's paid off for him very nicely with a couple of strong tournament finishes this season. We'll see if that is the case in this game. Here we go, game number 2. Already things looking much better for Dyego Rathje with the start of the Origin form Palkia V, and has a Nest Ball in order to search the deck for any basic Pokemon, adding it to the field.
Yeah, multiple Nest Ball, but the one piece I did not see just yet was a way to find energy. If an Earthen Vessel is sneaking around in the back of the hand, then this could be an insane draw here to find the Radiant Greninja, start to get some of those water energies into the discard pile. You know that's going to be an important piece to setting up a potential turn 2 knockout.
Nothing too crazy in the prizes for Dyego. There is the one Origin form Palkia V. He has the other one in the active spot. Can find this other one if he needs it later with his Hisuian Heavy Ball. And we do see an interesting tech here. We saw it played in game number 1. Didn't really get to talk about it much, though. A one-of Pokemon catcher. What do you think, Kyle?
You know, we've seen some players using the trekking shoes as a one-of or two-of there. Why not give yourself a chance to do one of the most broken things in the game, boss's orders without using supporter?
Nest Ball for Dyego will find that Squawkabilly EX. As you mentioned, no outs to an energy card. Next Nest Ball will get a Radiant Greninja down into play. And so I think that is what Dyego is hoping for here off of the incoming Squawk and Seas. A way to get some energy cards, a way to get them in the discard pile, and a way to threaten a turn to attack with Radiant Greninja.
Yeah, of course, this is what Dyego has to do in a spot like this. Continue to draw through, start to find options. But with 2 Night Stretcher already in the prize cards, 1 lost right there, not a lot of ways to recover Pokemon here.
Yeah, Night Stretcher is a pretty important card in this deck. It synergizes very well with the Pokestop engine that you do utilize. You don't mind discarding Pokemon there because you can always get them back with that powerful item card. Concealed Cards gets rid of a basic water energy, finding a pair of Pokemon Origin form Palkia V-Star and that Dusknoir, and a pair of Duskull put down to the bench.
Yeah, I'm looking for a Buddy Pop and something to help out here, and he just plays down 2 Duskull. This is a very optimal start. I'd say the one issue now is you see that Squawkabilly on the bench. That's something that Henry's really going to be eyeing up in the mid stages of this game. Sometimes you don't have that range to go for a big knockout with a Drifloon, but you can incorporate that Scream Tail and take those 2 easy prize cards.
And it is perfect math as well for Scream Tail to knock out Squawkabilly. No Bravery Charm needed. 8 damage counters on it leads to that 1-hit KO. Prize cards for Henry Chao, nothing too crazy. A couple of energy cards could be a big deal. That can be a problem with Gardevoir every once in a while, like just getting your energy cards in hand. Henry does mitigate that with a decent count of the Earthen Vessel. He is playing 3 copies, which is what he is in the deck with right now, as well with but for Henry, what kind of setup would you like to see? I don't think he had much as far as supporters. All I saw, I think, was an Arven. Yeah,
this is where Henry really needs to make a decision. Sometimes we see players go for single Ralts and say, well, if you're going to knock out a Pokemon, I'm only going to let you take 1 prize card with the Radiant Greninja. Or sometimes you go for the 3 Ralts and you accept the fact that we're going to lose 2, but I'll have that turn 2 Gardevoir EX.
Yeah, sometimes you got to force your opponent to have it as well, and that's something Henry Chao may be thinking of. If Diego's got Origin form Palkia V in the active,
my favorite goofball play also is, why not throw a Bravery Charm on it and just stick around?
That is absolutely an option. Then you get into some interesting scenarios. Diego could still Moonlight Shuriken them, and then if you evolve it into a Curlia, it gets knocked out. You can always rare candy into a Gardevoir, though. You Monkey Dory away some damage. There's still plays available. We'll see.
There's certainly
we'll see how things
there's
develop.
A hybrid opportunity here right now as we see the Technical Machine evolution, the energy there too. So if these Ralts come down onto the field, maybe you Bravery Charm 1, evolve another. Don't give your opponent 2 Curlia, though.
We will see that Secret Box being played, discarding a Psychic Energy, that Moonlit Hill. That is the only Stadium card in this list, so we will not see a Stadium found off the Secret Box, and it does look like a Bravery Charm goes down as well. Henry Chao will now be able to search for a supporter card, an item card, a tool card, and normally a Stadium, but like we mentioned, only that one single Moonlit Hill. Buddy Poffin finding a pair of Ralts, putting them directly onto the bench. We will see the attachment of the Technical Machine evolution. And are we going to just see the evolution putting 2 Kirlias in play? This is where, as a Gardevoir player, you kind of have to hold your breath.
Hedge! I like this from him. You have to protect yourself in this situation. Give yourself an opportunity to have 1 Gardevoir EX here. We also already saw a Lost Vacuum hit the discard pile earlier on. It's a 2 of in this deck from your opponent. So the opportunity to get a knockout on both Ralts and Kirlia, very unlikely.
Yeah, really, really smart play here from Henry. Could have gotten 2 Kirlia, but doesn't want to just walk into the Moonlight Shuriken of Dyego. Over on Diego's side, he is immediately going to kick the turn off with a Rare Candy into the Dusknoir, and that is a way you can still take out that Ralts.
Uh-oh. Yep, I just got scared. This could be dangerous.
It is technically possible for Dyego to win the game this turn.
Yeah.
You see the Curse Blast KO the Monkey Dory, and then Moonlight Shuriken with a Lost Vacuum. I don't think Diego's setup is quite good enough to make that happen.
If there was an energy on the Palkia, I would be nervous. But moving this Pokemon out of the active spot, getting those water energies into the discard pile, and attacking all in one, that's tricky.
For now, though, Dyego goes for the Cursed Blast, KOs the Ralts with the Bravery Charm. It does give Henry Chao a prize card, but it does, more importantly, take that Pokemon out of play. The Night Stretcher that was found off the prize cards is able to be used to bring back the water energy using concealed cards, and that is a really solid draw. Earthen Vessel here, able to get a couple more energy cards, but does he have a way to discard them? Is that an Ultra Ball in the hand?
Well, you see the Earthen Vessel not discarding energy, and then you start to wonder, well, there has to be another way. Hopefully, that's just 2 cards remaining in the hands, but I'm sure he's up to something.
I think he has Prime Catcher in his hand as well, so he can move this Origin Form Palkia V-Star.
Yeah.
He could also go for a play where he just goes Prime Catcher, retreat
is.
the Greninja, maybe, something like that, and just KO the Kirlia. Don't go for the Greninja necessarily.
Yeah, there's no reason to knock out or to deal 90 damage to the Monkey Dory. You're not setting up anything relevant. You're losing energies from the board. Why not have those energies onto the Palkia V-Star and continue to push that aggression, as you see there with that great retreat?
Wait, I think he's got it. He can... Oh, no. I think he could have had it. Does he have Dusclops in the deck? Does he play a Dusclops? He does play a Dusclops. He could have Ultra Balled.
Well, was the Duskull benched this turn? I think that was the issue.
No, Duskull was benched last turn, remember?
Oh, you're right.
We were looking for the Buddy Poffin, and he benched 2 Duskulls.
Chip, you found it.
I think he could have had it. Yeah, it was not prized. We could have seen Ultra Ball for Duskull, pop that, put 50 damage on the Monkey Dory, and then Radiant Greninja sweeps the board. But instead, Henry Chao is going to get one more opportunity. Let's not, downplay this situation. It is certainly very favorable for Dyego from this board state, but...
98 could have been 100.
Yeah, exactly. We will see Henry Chao kick off his turn with the Iono, shuffling both players' hands to the bottom of the deck. Henry Chao getting 5 cards here, Dyego getting 4. Immediately now using the flip the script of Pheasantipity. 5 cards becomes 8, and what does Henry Chao have to work with?
Well, the one answer you need is to have at least 1 Ralts down. Unfortunately, it's by way of Night Stretcher, but you'll accept that. Either way, this Pokemon is going to get you the rest of the way. It has to be Rare Candy Gardevoir on the following turn if you want to have any chance in this prize exchange.
See Radiant Greninja comes down. There's Professor Research in the hand for next turn. A few of the strong attackers there with the Screamtail and that Drifloon, but you can't do too much until you have had a chance to get a Gardevoir in play. We will see the Mind Bend of the Monkey Dory, confusing the active Origin Form Palkia V-Star, saying, hey, Dyego, if you want to attack, you're going to have to flip.
Oh, that is a risky endeavor to see, as we've already seen the Prime Catcher, an optimal way to move this Pokemon out of the active spot. You don't really want to use any other attack right now because you don't have access to your V-Star. You used all of these to get to this point. Would you flip for it, Chip?
I mean, is it better than passing? That's what you have to ask yourself, and it may well be. There is 1 switch in Diego's deck, so he could theoretically get out of this, switch into the Duskull, pop that if it becomes a Dusclops or a Dusknoir, and then bring this Pokemon back active. There's the Mew EX as well being found now off the Ultra Ball, which does provide that free retreat pivot option. The missing piece at this point is the switch. You'll see players so often go out of their way to not have to risk a flip in this type of situation.
100%. We had, what, the $10,000 coin flip at NAIC. I'm sure nobody wants to do that one again, unless you're watching from the audience.
It does make for some exciting moments. Here we go. Restart drawing 1 single card. It is the Ultra Ball. No switch was able to be found. And now Diego's got to ask himself, are we going for the flip?
Oh, Henry's posture says, here we go.
Here it is. Coin flip heads, it's an attack, and tails means you deal 30 damage to yourself. And I gotta say, Kyle, That math lines up pretty nicely.
Yeah, have we read Gardevoir EX? Because my goodness, this could be a big play. Research for 7, looking for the rare candy, the Ultra Ball, the Gardevoir, whatever it may be. If Henry finds this, he flipped the script without a Fezandipity.
There's an Ultra Ball. Does he find rare candy? No, rare candy does have concealed cards for the Greninja. 2 more cards to be found. No, and I don't think he has any more reach here. Unable to use the Fezandipity. If he evolves the Ralts into a Kirlia, he of course can't then rare candy at that turn.
Chip, there were a few cards that could have been played in that hand. I don't know if that ordering is exactly what I'd like to see. You could search out the Pokemon first and have a better opportunity to draw into the rare candy itself.
The one problem is then you are committing yourself down that line, and Henry Chao is a player who likes to leave his options open. Didn't deem it worthy at that point. What's he gonna do now? It looks like a retreat and send up maybe this Scream Tail. No, Radiant Greninja as sort of a chance to buy a turn. Yeah.
Yep, your opponent is knocking themselves out at this rate. You might as well lean into it a little bit and preserve some of these very important Pokemon.
Diego now with a couple of cards will play the Ultra Ball, discarding 2 from the hand to find any Pokemon out of the deck and add it to the hand. It will be that Dusclops, now evolving one of those Duskull. I gotta admit, it's pretty tough as a caster for all 3 of those Pokemon to be super relevant. Duskull, Dusknoir, Dusclops, like, which order do they come in? I can't keep it straight, man.
Honestly, it is tricky. They also look the exact same with his art, so it's a nightmare logistically.
Here we go with the restart. 2 cards to be found. Looks like the Froakie Night Stretcher and an Origin Form Palkia V-Star. That's not very helpful.
Yeah, that is the last Night Stretcher with the other one in the prize cards now. So if you use this resource, you are fully committing to the board that you have to work with.
And that is the only way that Diego can continue to advance this hand. Still looking for a way to get out of this confusion.
Only way through is to flip. Oh,
Another
no!
Tails.
Oh, this is dangerous territory now. Henry has the one Kirlia that he feels comfortable playing down, still looking for a rare candy, is not finding that, but does have the Earthen Vessel with a few more energies in the deck to work with. Maybe, what, 1? Yes.
I think it is just 1. There were a couple prizes this game, I do believe, so now he's got the 1. Concealed cards, yeah, 2 more in the prizes.
Both rare candies.
Pretty interesting here, though. Henry didn't evolve this Ralts into Kirlia last turn. He could have gotten a couple refinements off. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that's an interesting point as well. I feel like that probably was a fair opportunity, and maybe just overlooked that. But you now find the rare candy, and you have that answer, rare candy into the Gardevoir EX on the far side of the bench.
Arvin is the supporter, able to guarantee that rare candy find. Now Ultra Ball is played, grabbing out Gardevoir EX. So now you've got some options here. You can attack with the Gardevoir EX into this active. You could even go with the Screamtail KO on the Squawk ability at this point. What do you think makes sense here, Kyle?
I mean, with the confusion you've already seen, you've got your opponent pretty much stuck. It seems like a good knockout because the energies are placed there. I'm not worried about a Pokemon like a Blood Moon Ursaluna. Nothing's really going to surprise you in a spot like this, so I guess you take these energies off the board.
Actually, I wonder if Henry Chao had enough energy in the discard pile. He maybe didn't to damage the Screamtail enough, so this may have been his only line. It's going to work out pretty nicely, though. 2 prize cards here. Henry Chao down to just 3 remaining since he was given that free prize earlier from the Dusknoir. Diego Rathje promoting the Mew EX into the active spot, puts the Pokestop in play. We're going to spin it. 3 cards discarded from the top. A supporter, a stadium, and an energy card. No item cards able to be added to the hand here. This whole set has not gone Diego's way.
When it rains, it pours, and we see this again, just missing completely on all of those beneficial item cards. A Night Stretcher used for Fezandipity. Can it draw out of this spot now? Flip the script.
Drawing 3 cards, but even after this, I mean, where do we go from here? The only way you can clear a bench space is by KOing one of your only Pokemon, and then your opponent goes down to just 2 prize cards. What can you even put into play? I mean, the Blood Moon, I guess, would become an option. That's in the discard pile. There's no way to get it back. 3 Night Stretchers down.
Your opportunity lies in using the Dusknoirs, taking those knockouts, finding the Night Stretcher, and hopefully combining Blood Moon Ursaluna with a card like Iono.
Even then, though, Blood Moon Ursaluna, 240 damage.
And then you're stuck
it's
again.
It's not going to KO the Gardevoir EX.
You're just stuck in the active after you attack, too. It's an issue we've seen a few times.
He does have the Froakie in hand, so maybe we can work to try to establish the Greninja.
Wow.
Dyego thinks that it's just not worth it. There's so slim of a chance he could come back here. What a dominant performance there from Henry Chao, continuing to make a run with his Gardevoir deck.
Yeah, it's rare that in a matchup like this where it could go either way that you have such a dominating performance when you're just one match win away from making it to the top 8, but we see Henry Chao doing just that. It has to be a great confidence boost, especially when you've been on such a great run.
Yeah, what a win, what a set. Tough break there for Dyego. I mean, it's not like he did really anything wrong. I mean, I guess he could have won game 2. That would have been pretty good, but game one especially, man, that is just what you hate to see, especially at this point in a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something to go back and look on and improve. We saw that Henry was playing at his peak optimal point throughout the entirety of that match, and it's hard to beat a player when they're running that well.
Yeah, Henry Chao continues to go on a tear here this season, really making a name for himself, you know, with that Gardevoir deck. He's been the innovator of it, he is stuck by it, and he finds himself just one win away from top cut here at LAIC.
Yeah, he likes to eat food, and he's doing just that, man. He's been hungry out here, munching up the competition.
Yeah, doing just that indeed. And what's so cool about this Gardevoir deck is it's just got so many different options and so many ways to approach whatever matchup you go up against. It can be a really intimidating deck for, you know, new people to pick it up. You know, if someone hasn't, even if they've been playing Pokemon TCG, they just haven't been playing that deck. It can seem like such an intimidating one, but you can see the benefit there for Henry Chao. He's played it for so long. He knows the nuances. He knows the different lines depending on what his opponent can do.
Yeah, when it becomes second nature and you're drawing all of those cards and optimizing to that extent, you know exactly what the best attack is across all these different board states. Let's take a look at how Henry got here in this quick 2-0 match.
Yeah, we'll look at the replay here from this last game. It was a rough go of things for Dyego in game number 1, a pair of Origin Form Palkia V in the prizes. He tried to make something happen, but Henry Chao got off to a really aggressive start, which is what his deck has